Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and as you can see, this is ironic. I just want to wish everyone out there a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and hopefully 2025 will be absolutely brilliant for all of you out there. So I've got some recent pickups to share with you here, but first I've got an unboxing. So I just received this through the post this morning. I wanted to unbox this in natural light. Well, there's no chance of that today because today, I don't know about you, on Saturday, the 7th of December, it has been non-stop raining. So, yeah, the person who sent this wants to remain anonymous. That's perfectly all right with me. But I want to thank that person again for sending this across to me and thinking about me and saying, would you like this? So, what do I say? Nurse scissors. One of these days. Okay. So, what I've been sent today is well wrapped. Out the Viking, the special edition. Like that. This is amazing. And that's, oh, there's a sticker on there, but there's not a sticker on there. I mean, hey, that's what happens in the UK, isn't it? With these age ratings, they should be banned, but never mind. Should get the international release cut in high definition and the director's cut in standard definition. I don't know how to see it. Great artwork, that. Now, this isn't the Monty Python film, but it might as well be. Terry Jones is the director and written by and directed by as well. I think everything to do with Monty Python and the people around it, I think they're absolutely brilliant. There's Terry Jones there, who's sadly not with us anymore. There's John Cleese. A lot of text, a lot of pictures in. Amazing. There's artwork there. I would imagine by Terry Gilliam. This is, you can't hear it, but this is a really heavy box in fantastic condition. So I'll have to get back into talking about what movies I watched every month. I do it to start off the year with, and then I kind of fall by the wayside. But I will be watching this and I want to talk about it because it's been a long time since I've seen it. So once again, you know who you are. Thank you so much. Cheers. Now, some people might notice that I have already picked this up in the past, but sadly, the one that I thought was going to play all right did have a frame problem. Now, I know this one doesn't have a frame problem because I've checked it, and also I was told that this is the corrected version. Sadly, that one that I had originally got through this sort of pile. I don't know how it got into HMV, but it did, sadly. But never mind, I've got this now. This is the definitive one because it actually works, and I can't thank you again enough for thinking of me and send this across to me. So you know who you are. Thanks a lot and happy Christmas. So first up, in a rare pickup from CEX, I've got Doctor Who, the Faceless Ones. Now, me and the Debs, throughout the course of 2024, have visited Doctor Who. She swore blindly she would never go into Doctor Who territory. She says it's not for me. She thinks it's absolute rubbish. And she just said, no thanks. But on the 60th anniversary, she watched it and she was kind of intrigued by it. So through that, we went through and watched quite a lot of stuff. We've just finished off the William Hartnell era, and I've got a lot of things to talk about on that. And well, we're now starting the Patrick Troughton ones. Now, when I was in CEX, I saw a few of these for £6, and I thought, well, what's the point of rolling the iPlayer? And as you know, the iPlayer, they're on there at the moment, but they seem to be dropping off quite quickly. A few of the Tom Baker ones are gone already. Will it come back? They might do, I don't know. So we're on the Patrick Troughton, so I thought I'm gonna see what was the best one. I was thinking there's three of them in there. I know this is half of this is the animated ones. Sadly, at the start of Patrick Troughton's tenure, a lot of his episodes are lost. And it's a bit of a shame because we were so into William Hartnell. It would have been great to see the transition the same with Patrick Troughton because there's a lot more Patrick Troughton's missing than I thought there was. I thought it was the other way around, but it's not, unfortunately. So next year in 2025, I will be talking about Doctor Who a lot more. I'm not going to become a Doctor Who channel, I hasten to add, but I will be talking about my thoughts and our thoughts. If I can get the devs onto a video, I can get it and maybe talk about the fact of what we got out of particularly the first Doctor Who, because we watched them in a really strange order. We watched them from, say, all the shoot he got was we went back in time. The only one that I didn't really care for personally is the Chibnall era, but we're going to go back to that, fresh eyes and all that. So we'll start at the beginning. I didn't think Deborah would go for that, but she has. So on the back of that, I got this one. It looks absolutely brilliant. The animation on most of these looks incredible. The fact that most of the stories are missing, but it has got a lot of stuff in here. It's got some great extras. And also what it's got in here is it's got some of the episodes done with the tele snaps where you just see pictures and you hear the audio behind it. There's a lot to talk about with these early Doctor Who's. There's a lot more to them than meets the eye. Expect some content with Doctor Who, not a lot of it. I'm not going to become a Doctor Who channel, as I've said, but maybe next year when I'm sitting here in my Christmas jumper, it might say wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. So for £6, that's Doctor Who, the faceless ones. Next up in the 88 film sale, I got Crawl Space. Now, as soon as I saw this on the shelves, I didn't know anything about it, but I thought it's got a few things going for it. It looks amazing, the presentation. Also, it's got Klaus Kinski in it. It says Klaus Kinski stars in this terrifying and gruesome thriller as a crazed maniac who is obsessed with trapping young women and then slowly torturing them to death. Yeah, sounds like a comedy. It's one of those things where you're drawn in by the cover. And I do often think when I see ones like this that I don't know too much about, they're not in the Italian classics collection, so I don't have to get them straight away. I can kind of wait for a sale on them and then pick them up. So I haven't watched it yet. Now some of these I might talk about them more in the future when I actually see them if I think they need to be talked about a bit more. But at the moment I'm just showing you what I've got. So as with all of these titles, I've tried them all out, just see what the picture quality looks like. And the picture quality looks really good in this. I do trust 88 along with other companies like Arrow, Second Sight. You're going to get the best ever quality of that particular release when they release it. So high up in my extremely long to watch pile, that's Crawl Space. So next up on 4K, I've got Tai Chi Master. Now, when I watched The Legend of Feng Shui-Yuk, I thought I've got to get some more Jet Li stuff out. And this one came out in 4K around about the same time. And I saw the trailer for it and I thought, right, this looks really good. A bit like Feng Shui-Yuk, people jumping around on sort of, in the air, and it's a bit over the top, but I kind of like that stuff. And Deborah really likes this type of fantasy. This Asian cinema that was from the 90s that was kind of out there where people flying around in the air and just all kind of strangeness. But we just really like that. I want to put it on. I haven't watched this yet, but after watching Feng Shui-Yuk, this is going to be high up. The Debs hasn't seen Feng Shui-Yuk yet, but she definitely will. I don't know whether to start off for this or Tai Chi Master. I think probably Tai Chi Master with the fact it's got Michelle Yeoh in it. So after checking the 4K on this, I've got to say it looks absolutely brilliant. It doesn't look as good as Feng Shui-Yuk. I think that looks absolutely incredible, as you've seen from screenshots I've shown on other videos. As I said many times back in the day when I used to watch these ones when they're imported in the UK, they looked absolutely atrocious. I mean, they looked okay on DVD, but you never thought they would get to a certain point where they could go to 4K. As with the video nasties, you would think they would never reach 4K, but they did and look spectacular. And now we're seeing this Asian cinema getting to be in the same realm as the 4K video nasties. Now, this is kind of one of these eye-opening things that if someone had had a time machine and said, right, these things are going to look better than anything you've ever seen, and you think, no, no way, there's no way they could possibly do that. But here they are. We're talking about these on 4K, and we're talking about how good they look. So really interested to see this one, and I think me and the devs will be watching it very soon. That's the Tai Chi Master. Next up on a recommendation from my good friend Dave Ramsden, I've got Boy Kills World. Never heard of this at all, although I think I saw it when I walked past the shelves in HMV. This is from the producers of Evil Dead and Barbarian, and I don't know anything about it, but when Dave tells me about a film or sends me a film like this, I know they always have a great time with it. So Dave promised me this is absolutely nuts, and he said I would love it, and I do value his opinion. So thanks a lot, Dave and Jill. So that's Boy Kills World. So in the two for £30 sale, obviously I had to get something else. So I picked up a movie I've been looking at for such a long time. I picked up on 4K, obviously, The Nutty Professor. This is one of my favourite films from when I was young. This used to be on the telly all the time. And I think Jerry Lewis's performance on here is amazing. I remember when I watched it, I don't know how old I was quite young. I couldn't believe that they were the same people because of the way that Jerry Lewis, when he was the professor, the Nutty Professor, used to play it in this kind of goofy way. And then he was this cool person. I mean, it's a classic case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like a comedy version. And I just think it's great. And when I put it on, I've got to say that I knew that this film was like one of these Technicolor masterpieces where you would see it and you would even see it on the TV. When you're watching the TV, you just knew the colours looked exceptional. Something about 60s colours has got like that different look to it. So I put this on and this just looked amazing. I knew it would do if it was done correctly, and it is. The Technicolor side of it, the colours just fly off the screen. It's one of the best ones for that. I love it when you get them 60s movies that do turn out to be a visual treat, especially with the color palette that you can see on an HDR on a 4K. So I can separate the person from the art because everybody knows about the story of Jerry Lewis, but I'm going to separate that. I'm just watching this for the fact that I just like this film. Reminds me of my childhood, and I think it's so funny. So that's the Nutty Professor. Next up is a Category 3 video nasty. It is Dawn of the Mummy. Been waiting a long time for this. When this was promised, it seemed to be ages ago it was talked about, and I thought, right, get in. Because this one languished in sort of, especially in the UK, it was just not readily available. I'm so glad when these come out, especially in this fantastic edition for like a new generation. Now, this isn't the most action-packed film, but there's something about it. I remember John Hall brought this around for the first time I saw it, and I thought it was great. The picture quality was atrocious, mate. It was a really bad copy. And this one here does stay at the start of it. They had a lot of problems finding out the proper elements for it. I don't think they've got the original elements. I think the negatives have been destroyed. But I was like, and it did say treat this with a little bit of caution, the restoration. But when I watched it, I thought, wow, they've done an excellent job in it. And it looks, and believe you me, I've seen this from way back when, even like a decent copy from way back when, and it still looked horrendous. So it was only sort of good when it came on DVD, but like I say, the DVD was really hard to get. So I'm so glad this has come out. I don't think it's ever going to make a 4K upgrade because really we're at the pinnacle of this movie because of the fact that the elements are just no longer available. So really up for watching this now, and I'll be doing a dedicated video on this sometime soon. So that's Dawn of the Mummy. So speaking of Category 3 banned video nasties, I want to give a quick shout out to my good friend David John Barnes. Remember he sent this across to me? Now I didn't mention on the video that it was a Category 3 video nasties. Now the thing about that is when you get the Category 3 list, you kind of forget what's on there because there's that many. And I was alerted in the comments to say he didn't say about this being a Category 3 banned video nasty. So I'm putting that right. And I want to say to David John Barnes, once again, thanks for sending this across to me. It's such a spectacular edition. And it's absolutely nuts. It's quite gory as well. And I do recommend it if you can find it for anybody who's collecting the banned video nasties. So big thanks again to David John Barnes for setting me up with this. Cheers, mate, and Merry Christmas. So last week in Newcastle, I met up with Ryan from Let's Get Kicking Movies, Sam from Sammy G's World of Cinema, and also the very quiet Nige from Rock On 2004. And obviously, we had such a blast. I would imagine when we go to Newcastle in the coffee shops, they must be really sick of us. We'll buy one cup of coffee and we sit there for about 3 hours chatting about it. So obviously, as we finished our essential cup of coffee at Starbucks this time, because Costa Coffee was chocolate block, the town was chocolate block, obviously with Christmas coming up, went into HMV. One of the best things about going to HMV with fellow enthusiasts, you can just mooch around them shelves and you can strike up conversations about the most craziest of titles that you wouldn't think anyone would check out. You can say, have you seen that one? And they say, have you seen that one? It's absolutely brilliant. I love doing it, and hopefully we're doing it a lot more in 2025. So anyway, I'm going to leave a link down to all them channels down below. Also, I'll leave a link down to Rock God's video that he shot about his experiences when I met and what he got. So I picked up a few things when I was there. And first off, in the 2 for £30 sale, I bought the 4K of Ghost Dog. I couldn't believe it when I saw it because when I originally saw this was coming out in 4K, this is the Jim Jarmusch film. As you know, Jim Jarmusch has directed my favourite film of all time, Down by Law. And I've got quite a few of his films. And I've heard lots of good things about Ghost Dog. When I showed it to Sam goes, "Oh, that's an amazing film." And really want to get into this, really want to check it out. So I'd bought the 4K long before now, but it never come out with a slip. And I thought, oh, I don't believe that. You're not even getting a chance to get a slip on the first day. And obviously, they're not cheap. And you think the least they could do was put a slip around it. So anyway, when I saw the steelbook there, I thought I'm having that. And also, I put one of the great protectors that I've got with my good friend Dave Ramsden again. And this means that this sits on the shelf. It's in perfect condition. And actually, it finishes a steelbook off for me. I think steelbooks are not my favourite things to go to, but because I've got these steelbook protectors now, I feel like I'm going to pick them up a bit more, or I'll pick them up definitely in a sale. I don't think I'm there to get them when they're out, at full price because they're getting to be quite expensive. Well, most things are these days, but the steelbook side of things are a little bit over the top. This one here was a no-brainer. So when I put it on, for some reason, I remember seeing some of Jim Jarmusch's earlier films, and they were shot this way. They were really grainy. Some of them were like kind of really noisy grain, but it was kind of shot really on 16mm. It was kind of like guerrilla, like filming. So you're in for a bit of a low budget experience. I looked on here and I thought, who is the cinematographer? Because Jim Jarmusch uses, he's sadly not with us anymore, one of the best cinematographers ever. He did the amazing Paris, Texas, which isn't a Jim Jarmusch film, but it looks sensational. I know it's come out in 4K and it just looks unbelievable, that, even on a Blu-ray. So it is by Robbie Mueller. And when I put it on, I thought I was expecting it to be, for some reason, just have that grainy look to it, like a very low tech picture quality, but it looks absolutely stunning. This is one of the best 4Ks I've seen, one of the best 4Ks of the year. Great when you get a 4K, especially involving someone like Robbie Mueller, who means that this film can look extraordinary, and it certainly does. I can't wait to watch this one, and I was so glad to pick it up. A big thanks to Dave Ramsden for supplying me with this protective cover. So, highly recommended. Brilliant picture quality, stunning 4K. It's in the 2 for £30 sale now as a steelbook. A really amazing bargain for sure. That's Ghost Dog. Next up on 4K, I've got a set that I thought had long passed me by. This is one of my favourite films of all time, although I never talked about it before. I remember starting my son off on this. I had the DVD of it, and I said to my son, "Do you want to watch this?" Because he was into car chases. And he put this on, and he watched this on a loop for weeks and weeks and weeks, much to my pleasure, because I can't get enough of this film. Of course, it is The Italian Job on 4K. What a stunning box set. I just thought that this box set was just long gone. And when I saw it, I thought, yep, this is the time. And I knew how good the DVD looked. The DVD looks exceptional. And my son did have a computer PC game, The Italian Job. And that was amazing. I used to love playing on that with him on the computer. It was brilliant. And he used to spend ages on it because kids and computers games, what a stunning set this is. And of course, the 4K on here looks absolutely sensational. I knew it would be. But there's something about it going back to that 60s, the look, the colour, the sharpness. There's just something about it. Obviously, that's the film stock they used. The 4Ks just really shine when they are from that period. Apart from being a brilliant film with brilliant music, with a brilliant cast, this film just looks sensational. And I knew it would do, but it's so crystal clear. It's shot outside mainly, blue skies. It's got everything going for it. The colours are amazing. The sharpness is brilliant. Can't wait to watch this again. I think it's got a 5.1 surround. These are the things that I might talk about a little bit more when I'm talking about my favourite 4Ks of the year. Unfortunately, I haven't watched all of the ones I would put into my list yet. So this might have to wait maybe until late January to put the ones in that I haven't got, but I think it would probably go into the top 10. Actually, I might do a top 20 because I know I've got a lot of John Hall that I could put into the top 10. I could probably do a top 10 of the ones I've got from John Hall, never mind the other ones I've picked up in the year of 2024. So that'll be coming, say, late Jan 2025. But highly recommended. What a special edition. Everything going for it. It's a classic. That's The Italian Job. When I was talking to Nigel in HMV, I said, "There's a title here I really want to pick up." but I don't know if I'll get my hands on it. I hope it's not gone. It's not been one of those ones that's been sold that out that quickly. You haven't got a chance to get it. You've got to go to the second-hand market. Nobody wants to do that. But sometimes you just got to go there when it just sells out so fast. And I never thought I would see it. It wasn't on the shelves. There's nothing like a thing to say, go behind the counter to do this. So when I took those things across to buy, lo and behold, it was there. So I said to the lass, here's one of them. Well, actually, Nige did. He says, oh, get him one of them. Because I says, can I have one of them over there? And she was going, this one, that one, this one, that one. He went, that one, man. I think she got a bit of a shock. But anyway, when she turned around, I think she thought that Sammy G had said that. So, yeah, that's Nige for you. So, of course, I picked up on 4K Terrifier 3. This film is, well, what can you say about Terrifier 3? It is absolutely, it's just nuts. And it does say nuts, absolutely nuts on the cover, and I agree with that. Now, when I went to see this at the cinema, two things I thought of when I look back on my cinema experience with it. It was amazing to see something as grotesquely gory as Terrifier 3 at the cinema. Going back to my formative youth when you used to try and watch these things, you couldn't get them for love of the money, and everything would be cut out of it. This thing wouldn't get released in the UK at all. It wouldn't be in the cinema. It would be banned from everywhere, back in the day. And to see that and to sit there and watch this and all the things going on was like a treat in itself. But I did hear somebody say this would have got banned just for the first 5 minutes. It's worse than anything in Terrifier 2. Now I had that in my mind when I went in. And I've got to say, as bad as it was, to me it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And it kind of made me have a bit of a strange trajectory on this when I was thinking, well, I want something to be worse than Terrifier 2 in the way of special effects or gore. And there's quite a lot of stuff in it, but I don't think it lived up to me or something that happened in Terrifier 2. But on reflection, I'm going to go back on this with an open mind. I'm going to watch the first two, obviously, before I watch this one. And I want to reevaluate it because I did think it was good, but I think it's going to be kind of thinking about it now. I think it's going to go right up my estimation, be one of my favorite films. It is one of my favorite films from 2024, but I think it'll be higher up after a rewatch and not go in with that mindset to say, I want to be shocked more than Terrifier 2. Because the scene in Terrifier 2 that I'm talking about in the bedroom with the girl is, for me, it's not topped in this, but I'm not taking anything away from it. I did enjoy it, and I was really glad to get this special edition because I feel like sometimes in the UK when you get these really good horror films, I consider good. When you get the likes of Maxine, you get the likes of Pearl and X, and also Longlegs. You don't get any slips with them. I was really surprised that Longlegs come out on 4K because it's out in 4K, but no slip, I thought. And it seems like the special editions that these things need just don't seem to come to the 4K. You've got to go and get them from God knows where. Places like Germany, France, the US. And you think, what's the matter with the UK? Why don't you put them out here? So when I saw this was coming out in a beautiful edition, I thought I've got to pounce. Of course, when you go for it, it's all sold out. But I was really glad that I saw a couple behind the counter. So I thought, right, I'm having that. I must say, when I put it on, now when I went to see this at the pictures, I didn't know it looked like this film had been deliberately made to look like it was shot like in the 80s, I could say. It's not from the 80s. It's not meant to be set in the 80s, but it's got a kind of 80s look, like the other ones have. And this one looks exactly the same. Now, I wouldn't say it looked brilliant at the cinema, and this doesn't look amazing on 4K. It does look, it is a good 4K, it's done well, but I think the way it was shot and the way they've deliberately made this look quite grainy, but I think the grain's been introduced to it as far as I can see. I think this film was deliberately meant to look low budget, and it certainly does. But the 4K does add that extra colour on, and yes, it has got that sort of like grainy look to it. But I'm not taking anything away from it because I just think that I just want these all in 4K. Now, the first two are coming out in 4K in January, so I'm definitely going to get that. They're coming out together in a double pack. And I will be picking that up and having all these on 4K. Terrifier 4 will be out pretty soon by the looks of it. So once again, a big shout out to Ryan, Sam and Nige. Never laughed so much since the last one. And also, yous all have a Merry Christmas from me and the devs. So, thanks for watching. You take care. And I will see you on the next video. Cheers.